there are some promises and some threats. And I loved Pasi's introduction because it made my introduction even easier, because there are great things that comes with technology, but also many problems, especially the problem of screen time that Andy also mentioned, and also the echo chamber problem, and the trust in government, young people thinking that I don't really trust my parents or the society anymore because this is crazy. But still they are drawn into echo chambers where they are not able to see where their thinking comes from. And while all of this is happening, we continue to assess competencies like this. And none of the researchers we have had in the ARC network have ever said that this is a good way of assessing the competence of the future, but the education system continues because of the whole system of deciding who is going further in the system and all of the rest of the things you know more about than me. So, as Pasi said, there is a decline in performance. And maybe the worst thing is that the test anxiety and also the mental health is going down in almost all OECD countries at the same time. So this is worrying. And I totally agree with Pasi that this is not something that started in the pandemic. It's actually something that started long before that. In Norway, the politicians are not very happy to show this graph, and I've never seen it shown by a politician at all. It's basically showing that the average motivation is declining, and we see the same in the other Nordic countries. So we continue with a medicine that doesn't work. That's the short story. And also, yeah, there is a lot of evidence there on that, and Pasi showed you a lot of it recently. So we need to change the way of thinking around what we do in education. And I like Michael Furlan's model. We have made another version of that thinking where the whole point is to get to problem-based learning, to production, to show your competence in different ways, multimodal ways. So the whole future of data-informed learning is shifting from summative, ranking, data delay, and all the things we had previously, to more formative, teacher owning the data, real-time data. Pasi called it small data a couple of years ago, so this is building on that same idea. And one of the most interesting things, if we go down that path, is that data must be generated and used in the learning situation. And this is where the new AI paradigm and the new technologies are really great. So basically, the teachers are owning the data, the students are owning the data. There is no data manager that's running the data through some models coming back to the schools 4 weeks or 4 months later to tell them what to do. This is actually something happening in the learning. And this is a great opportunity. And one of the things that's really challenging in this landscape is that currently schools are using from 1 or 2 to the highest number I've seen is 30 different edtech applications, storing data in silos. Most of them, our analysis of this is that 85% of all edtech that are used in schools are illegal because the data are stored all over the place and the teachers don't know where the students have logged in and how this is worked. They can communicate with people all over the world. And this is obviously a problem. And this is actually an even bigger problem now that we have gotten AI, because the students are logging into more services outside of the school system, outside of the government control, sharing data and communicating with people we don't control. Yeah, so this is a problem. And also, the things go so fast that regulations can't keep up. So we tend to just say, stop. We can't control it, stop. And then the educational system continues anyway. millions of logins in the Nordic countries alone on services that are from an ethical point of view and legal to use. And the teachers are talking about the positive side of AI without understanding that it's actually illegal to do any of this if you are following the GDPR regulations you should follow. So to sum up the negative parts, before I'm going more into the opportunity here, who owns the data, logins and GDPR, what I said. Also learning from mistakes. If you have a machine that actually gives you the perfect answer all the time, how are you going to learn that you can stumble, you have to do mistakes, you have to change opinions, you have to learn from your mistakes? Could we end up with one big echo chamber and not knowing who controls that echo chamber? I mean, Google is for sure going to start selling content that will be used in AI models, so that the facts is actually just popping up in the computer without us knowing the intentions of the people actually putting in the facts. And also the problem of stealing content. We could actually reduce diversity because people have the same arguments. It's the same machine generating the answers. And also, the output is not based on the student product, it's actually based on the machine helping the students. And also the problem of big tech taking over. And the question is also, if we twist this, are we actually stopping good learning opportunities because of the above? And many school owners and municipalities now, and I talked to several in different Nordic countries, are saying the same. We don't have control, so let's just stop it. Which is then again also taking away the possible positive side here. The worst case scenario from my point of view is that we end up with a situation where we have AI support for the student. They are producing something with AI support, even images and creating whole videos based on AI. Then they send this to the teacher, and the teacher gets help from AI to evaluate this product. So we are actually having two machines communicating without any brains actually activated. So basically, the product seems good. The learning appears to be a good learning situation. The output and the product of the students are excellent, and it's actually measured excellent by the AI. But it's no human brain actually in the equation. So this is something we need to avoid. So to sum up the threats, it's illegal to use ChatGPT in schools. I don't know if you have thought about that, but obviously it is. It's data storing outside of your system. It's sharing with data with people you don't have control of, and all of this stuff. But on the other side, if you are able to make an AI-powered solution within your system, controlled by your system, linked to the curriculum, tagged with curriculum goals, actually making the students feedback based on the intentions in the curriculum, then we have a system that could actually change something, and also a system where the politicians and the education system actually controls or influences the output. And this is what we have suggested for the Norwegian government, and they have funded a test, which we are going to look into the 6th of May in Oslo, and we will try it on students before that, actually prompting AI feedbacks to the student based on the curriculum, the national curriculum. If this is then included into the system, we have the situation where the government is controlling the output through the curriculum. We have a safe space for students to actually use AI in the feedback structure, and we don't end up with all the worst possible scenarios. But there are still problems. I'm coming to them shortly. In my view, competence has always been best documented through a multimodal output product, and a reflection after. It's going back to John Dewey. I mean, you learn by activity and reflection on the activity using relevant concepts. This is still valid, and that's much better done if you are presenting something you made than if you're just writing a text on a standardized test. So what we are trying out at the moment is that we combine either the Office package, the G Suite package, or the Apple package, linking it to a national controlled AI system tagged by the curriculum to give outputs to the student. And I'm going to show you a demo now on how this works. And when you come to Oslo, we will sit down in groups and you can actually test the system yourself. We will have student data that's actually made from students in the room, and we can look at the outputs and we can reflect on how this is going to possibly change education in a positive way without falling into all the ethical dilemmas that we could fall into. So basically, this is a scenario where we have Office 365. We have some production tools from LearnLab. We read the student output by several AI services. We tag it with the curriculum goals. We process the information, basically making sure that when the student is actually producing something that are valid from a curriculum point of view, then the chat GPT is making an output that's relevant. So this is an example. This is a dinosaur book made by a sixth grader. Then the sixth grader can choose from either summarizing the book, giving me feedback on the book, is the message clear in the book, and more and most interesting, get help from Socrates. Because we don't want to end up in a situation where all the books are perfect because the AI have helped the student to make the perfect book. We want to use AI technologies to ask questions, to go deeper into the knowledge. So basically what happens here is that the student actually chooses Socrates, or we could actually, in the beginning of the period, maybe the 3 first weeks or something, when we are working on dinosaurs and the development of Earth, the student can only get help from Socrates. The teacher can choose this, so they feel in control of the situation. So when the student says, just give me the answer, the AI tool is actually saying, no, and ask a question back. So the student actually has to think and reframe the question, ask smarter questions. So basically it's steering the student into reflection instead of just giving them a simple answer. So I won't read all the output here, but this is actually something that's possible to do as we speak. I have an example here taking right out of ChatGPT for this week. It's basically a student saying, can you give me the answer on this equation with 2 x's? And then the system says, no, but have you thought about? And then it goes back and forth until the students, by their suggestion, shows understanding of this. And then it says, okay, now you are very close to understanding how to solve equations. And this is great work, continue to work. So AI can actually steer the students in direction of the most important part of the curriculum. And this is something we are modeling as we speak, and we can talk more about in Oslo. If we go to the teacher perspective, this can look like this. This is a student who have made one book about sustainable farming, one book about one video about water, and one mind map about food, and one text about eating. These are from Office 365 and from LearnLab. And then the teacher, these are put automatically in the portfolio of the student. And then the teacher has the option to generate the feedback. These are 4 specific examples of student products that are made and tagged with some specific learning goals from the Norwegian curriculum. And then the output is like this. The teacher always knows better than the AI what the student has done or performed or understanding. But to get this help to be a starting point for giving feedback is a possible good thing. So the teacher can either now send the feedback to the student or edit it. Hopefully, most teachers will edit it, add something, take away something. I mean, yeah. We are also investigating models where we are using Gardner's multiple intelligences to make a profile of the student, to tailor the feedback to the student so that it fits better the student's profile. And then we can learn the machine again things around what kind of feedback triggered activities, what kind of feedback triggered more questions, what kind of feedback triggered better understanding. So there are a lot of possibilities here to use AI to tailor feedback to the students, filtered by the teacher. And the first reactions from the teachers we have tried this with is that they would never be able to write this kind of specific feedback to all their students. So to have this as a starting point for a discussion is really helping, because this is very specific feedback on videos, sounds, images, drawings, mind map, timelines, whatever the students have made. Yeah, you can see. So this is the start of a dialogue. So to end this, I would say that if you are not going to end up with a monstrous machine in your system, there are some things that has to be in place. First, a country should control or own the login platform. So you should have a national login for all the students. You can buy this from a company and then let this company run it for you, but you should control it. Then you should control the student catalog, basically so that it's possible for different edtech providers to log into this catalog and reuse the data there. And then you should have very strong GDPR and application regulations, deciding on a national level or at least on a municipality level what applications should be allowed to use. And then the fourth, maybe most important one related to what we are talking about now, you have to own the curriculum. And obviously you think you own it because you have written it. But if the curriculum is actually in principle owned by Google and Microsoft and some others, because that's where all the facts come from, that's where all the feedback come from, then you have a problem. So you should make sure that all the AI tools that are used in your schools actually filter the information by your curriculum. Then you're owning the curriculum in practice in the schools. So then it's possible to have an AI that's very advanced, but also pedagogically relevant and ethical, giving more formative feedback to the students, but also structuring the summative feedbacks in better way. So my point is, don't sit and wait until big tech has taken the whole room, shown everybody that this is the only way to do it. You have to be active yourself as a system to make sure that your intentions, your pedagogies, your values are actually part of the equation when it comes to giving feedback to the students. And this is actually possible from a technical point of view too. Okay, let's discuss.